The Great Sword Ultimate, finally released in Game of Thrones. It's going to let you ignite your foes into a blaze of fire and deal mass single target DPS, which is essentially the Great Sword's downed, execute, move. Hey guys, Mimic here with another video, and in this one we're going to be talking a little bit about my new skill rotations on Great Sword Dagger. I'm going to be breaking down the passives that I use, what the skills that I actually use and what they do, and how I'm using my new rotation with the new ultimate skill for Great Sword that was released. We'll talk a little bit about the resistant event and how to unlock these skills, and then at the very end of the video we'll cover a little bit about what my plans are moving forward for this class. Now, the rotation itself, first let's get into the actual skills. So we'll look at the ultimate skill here called Guillotine Blade, which was just released yesterday with the resistant event, which you can get by doing the events. And it reads here: obtained from resistant event rewards, deals 690 of base damage plus 80 damage, and then it deals at 897% of base damage plus 104 damage to collision, prone, or shocked targets. You can see here at max damage, you can look at the very bottom there. It says damage to prone or shock is going to be 1,066% of your base damage plus a whopping 184 base damage on top of that. Guys, Guillotine Blade is so OP for the Great Sword. It's actually the make or break with the Great Sword, and using it in PvP, you literally feel unstoppable. So let's break down a little bit about the passives and what I use here. So my first passive on the Great Sword, if you guys are looking to play Great Sword when NA comes out, it's a great class, heavy bursty DPS. It's kind of like an assassin type class, somewhat tanky-ish, but not really, more on the bursty side. Okay, I would say it's kind of like a mid between tank and straight DPS. It's kind of in the middle there. We're using robust constitution there. You can see it's going to give me health regen, which is going to be great for sustaining in the fight if I'm not getting heals, and it's going to give me a max health of 1540. Now, max health is going to be 1750 at max level, which is great because, as you'll see here in a second, Greatsword is going to scale off HP. On the growth effects, you can see here that it's health regen plus 84, which I've got there on the top, and then that additional max health of 350, which is going to top me off there. So I'm getting like almost 1900 extra health just by having robust constitution on. My second passive that I use is Vital Force. Now, for the longest time, Vital Force was bugged, but they fixed it a couple weeks ago, and since then you can feel a massive improvement on the overall damage of the Great Sword. Now, you'll read there where it says magic, melee, and ranged hit 178, skill damage boost 0.25, and stun chance 0.425 per every 100 current health. And you see there on the rare and the epic, you get that skill damage boost and the stun chance. So Vital Force is really good for Greatsword because of how it's going to work and how it's going to scale off your max health. You're going to have that skill damage boost, which is going to increase your overall damage that you're doing across. It's a flat boost damage, and you're going to have a higher chance to actually stun based on how much health you have. Now, Greatsword is a health slash stun type of tune, right? The more health you have, the more damage you're going to do. And the way Greatsword works is when you stun your opponents, you actually do more damage to them while they're stunned and while they're prone. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. My third passive that I use here is Cold Warrior. I've got it to level 3, but I am going to get it to level 5. You can see here against shocked or stunned targets that the melee and range heavy attack are increased by 260, and then melee and range critical hit is also increased by 90. Now, Cold Warrior went through some changes. It didn't used to be like this a few weeks ago. With the patch that they released about a week ago, they did change his passive, and they gave us access to that heavy attack chance. So now we're getting that heavy attack chance. 264 is roughly 26%. So I am going to have a 26%, 1 in 4 chance to actually do double damage on all of my skills after someone is stunned or shocked. Now, Remember that, because that is very important. The Cold Warrior is very important when we start getting into my rotation. Okay. Now, the next skill that I use for PvP, so for PvE, I use the Victor's morale. It's just going to give me health and mana on hit. But for PvP, I actually use the Indomitable Armor. So I'm going to put it right there. And the Indomitable Armor reads, has a 25% chance, or roughly a 1 in 4 chance to increase melee range or magic defense by 258 for 2 seconds upon being hit. And the OP part about this is that it does stack up to 3 times. So you're gonna, if you're getting hit, you can proc this and you'll be getting that defense stacking on you, which is going to help you tank a little bit more shots, help you stay in the fight a little bit longer, and ultimately help you kind of just engage multiple targets without having to run back to your lines for heals. So Indomitable Armor is bar none a really, really good skill passive to have on your passive bar there. Now, Indomitable Armor also was changed in the past week. They changed completely how it works, which is why I take it into PvP now, because it's actually viable. My next passive here is going to be Profuse Poison. So like I said, Greatsword, I use Greatsword Dagger, so it's a very very bursty slash assassin type of tune, and I use the poison damage 11% and poison duration up 45% during the day. Poison damage is actually up 45 at night, which is ridiculous. If I'm hitting you with my poisons at night, your health is going to be chunking, and you're definitely going to be feeling it, and it does stop heals for you know, from actually healing you to the best that they can. So having that poison dot damage on your target that you're trying to DPS is kind of like a kill secure kind of thing, right? Because you're going to dot them, it's going to proc, and their health is just going to be getting chunked by the poison. So I take Profuse Poison, but again, you can switch it out if you like. The next passive is going to be Assassin's Instincts. Here it's a magic, melee, and range critical hit up to 60. And then, so this is just going to help you crit more. The higher this is, the more crits you're going to have overall. So I've got that on there to give me the crit bonus. And then I also have Wrathful Edge there, which is an overall crit damage. I have it up to level 3 now, which is 15%. But you can see at level 5, you go to a whopping 18% more critical damage, and that is a static critical damage across every single time you auto attack. Against every single time you do a spell, you're going to have an additional 18% critical damage. And then finally, my last passive that I've got here is Shadow Walker. You can see here, after using a mobility skill, I'm going to get some damage reduction plus 14, and I'm going to get some ranged evasion 60% or 600 for 6 seconds, which is so good. So when I dive into the fight, I have evasion. I'm going to be evading more of the attacks. It's going to help me sustain and get that initial burst off. And then if I am getting hit, then the Indomitable Armor is going to help me stay in the fight as well. So you can see how my passives there, these are just the passives that I went with. Feel free to mix and match as you play the game, as you build your tune and build your traits and everything on your gear. Now, the skills that I use, I am using Valiant Brawl. This is just a kind of like a filler type damage. It's like your main damage that you're doing when you are on cooldowns for all your other damages, and it looks like this. Again, Valiant Brawl is a very good skill. It looks like this. That's what it looks like. It's just like a 4 attack prong attack there. Does great damage. It's a great filler damage and has a relatively low cooldown of 7.6 seconds. You can see here that Valiant Brawl reads attacks 4 times in a row. It does 140% of base damage plus 55 damage. And if there's multiple targets that are next to the target that you're actually hitting, it also hits those targets as well. So it's really good in PvE. And then the last hit, you can see here, does 427% of base damage plus 84 damage. Every time a hit becomes a heavy attack, the remaining cooldown decreases by 15%. So if you're stacking that heavy attack, which is really nice with the Cold Warrior, you can see here that it's going to be synergizing really well with Valiant Brawl, because it's going to be decreasing my cooldown by 15% every time I heavy attack with it. Okay, that is why you want to be stacking heavy attack on Greatsword. Precision Dash is my gap closer. It just rushes at a target, deals a 110% of base damage, and then it does increase heavy attack chances by 160 for 3 seconds on hit. Damage increases by 16% per every 1 meter of distance from the target at a starting point. So again, this synergizes with heavy attack because it's going to be increasing that heavy attack chance by 16% for 3 seconds on hit. So what I do is I dash in, it procs that passive, and then I hit the Valiant Brawl. And when I'm doing double damage on the Valiant Brawl, remember that if I hit attack damage, it's actually going to be minimizing the cooldown on Valiant Brawl. Once I do those 2 skills, I go in with the Stunning Blow. This is the main skill in your rotation. You want to make sure that if you're landing anything, that the Stunning Blow hits. And the reason is because you're going to deal 150% of base damage with an 80% chance to stun the target for over 3.5 seconds, which is a lifetime in PvP. If you're getting stunned for 3.6 seconds, you are dead. Targets immune to stun are shocked for 7.2 seconds, and every heavy attack increases stun duration by 1%. Shock duration by 2 seconds. Oh, I'm sorry, by 1 second. Every heavy attack increases stun duration by 1 second. So if you stun someone, right? If I hit this and I stun someone, and then I hit them with Valiant Brawl, and Valiant Brawl does a heavy attack. Every time I heavy attack them, it's going to increase that stun duration by 1 second. That is broken. Greatsword got so many good buffs this turn. I'm so happy to be using it. So Stunning Blow is really good. Once they're stunned, you're going to hit them with the Death Blow. Okay? Deals damage equal to 470% of base damage plus 225 against bound, slept, shocked, or stunned targets. And that damage is increased 30% if they are hit while they're slept, shocked, or stunned. And then you can see there, obviously it's epic now, so it's going to deal the bonus damage equal to 60% of the base damage there. So Stunning Blow is like a big damage that you do after they're stunned. And then after they're stunned, what I like to do is I will go in straight into the Predatory Strike. Okay, now as you hit them with the Predatory Strike, they're probably going to be getting up, right? You're going to hit them with the Precision Dash, you're going to hit them with the Valiant Brawl, you're going to stun them, you're going to do the Death Blow, right? After the Death Blow, you're going to hit them with the Predatory Strike. Now, as you're finishing the Predatory Strike, they're probably going to be standing up now because the stun is going to wear off. I'm going to break down what the whole rotation looks like on the mannequin, but I'm kind of letting you know that once you get to the second part, once you do all your Greatsword skills and you go to your secondary skills, which for me is Dagger, Predatory Strike is a really good damage dealer. You can see there it deals 490% of damage plus 70 damage, and then an additional 40% of damage consecutively. The damage is increased by 9% for targets under the effect of any kind of burning, curse, or poison damage. So once they're poisoned, it's going to make the Predatory Strike do more damage there, okay? And then once you do the Predatory Strike, I like to go straight into the Shadow Strike, which is right here. Shadow Strike moves behind a target and deals damage equal to 200% of base damage, has a 60% chance to bind the target for 2 seconds, and apply silence poison for 6 seconds. So it's going to poison them and it's going to silence them for 6 seconds, which is so strong in PvP. Okay? 6 seconds is a lifetime. They can't use any spells against you. It's so good. Once you hit them with the Shadow Strike, you're going to want to go right into the Ankle Strike. It deals damage equal to 210% of base damage plus 12 against bound, slept, or stunned targets. Has an 84% chance of applying prone. Now, this is where the ultimate comes in, because once you prone them, you're going to go straight into the Guillotine Blade. That's where you're going to see where it deals that 690% of damage plus 80 damage, and then it deals that 897% of base damage plus 104 damage to prone or shock targets. So what you want to do is you want to prone them and then finish them off with Guillotine Blade. It's literally your execute. Okay, so this is what the rotation looks like. I'm going to try to get it for you guys here on one go, but essentially you pop your poison and you go straight in. Watch. Poison, right in. Oops, hit him with the Valiant Brawl, stun. I get him with the Will Breaker, hit him with that, come around, Ankle Strike into the ult. So it was a little scuffed, And I did forget to talk about the Will Breaker, which is what I use as my my number 4, and it deals 100% of the base damage to all enemies within a 3 meter semicircle, and it applies enfeeble that decreases their defense by 40 points for 6 seconds or 400. So essentially, when I go in, right, I'm gonna stun them. Boom, I stun, and then I hit them with the Will Breaker to drop their defenses. After they're hit with the Will Breaker and they're stunned, I hit them with the Death Blow, right? Then I also have Ascension Slash, which I didn't talk about, but essentially, once they're about to get up, as long as they're stunned, if you hit them with the Ascension Slash like that, it's gonna make them fall back onto the ground, and it just keeps them CC locked for a little bit longer, which helps your cooldowns, because your cooldowns are still going on cooldown, so they're just staying CC'd, and you can still hit them with the Predatory Strike when they're CC'd like that, or you can hit them with the Valiant Brawl to kind of fill in some damage while they're CC'd, and then when they get up, that's when you hit them with the Shadow Strike like that. Then you're going to make them fall to the ground, and then you're going to hit them with the double damage there. You can see that one hit for over 7,000 damage in one hit. So that is the rotation, guys. I hope I didn't speak too quick. It's pretty straightforward. If you guys want me to break it down, let me know. But it's very, very, very strong in PvP. Like, this is the most fun I've had in PvP in ages. Now, how to actually get the item. So the new resistance event, which is going to be coming out in NA, probably about a month and a half once the game drops in NA. It's pretty much the same events that you're doing, right? You're doing these same events, except now they give you these points, okay? And these points that you can get by doing the events, you actually get and you unlock the skill that way. And you can see here what your score is. It tells you what the scores are. So like Dark Destroyers, for instance. As long as you place within any of these ranks, you get this score, okay? Now, when I've only done two events, and I've got 548 score, okay? And I got my actual rankings. I got my book, because you unlock a book. See right here, the active skill. You see where it says those Guillotine Blade, Inferno Meteor, Ray of Disaster. You can pick whatever book you want and unlock it for whatever tune you are. So if you are a staff, you can get the Inferno Meteor. If you are Dagger, you can get the Frenzied Sword Dance, and ultimately at the end of all these rewards, and you do it for 3 days, okay, you'll be able to unlock both of the skills. So you can see here that Guillotine Blade is for the Great Sword, and the Frenzied Sword Dance is for the Dagger, okay? Now, all you got to do to get your ultimate skill is just do 2 events a day, okay? It goes on for 3 days. See day 1, day 2, day 3. Every day it's a different thing. You can see for day 1, it's going to be join dynamic events. Day 2 will be different mission. Day 3 will be a different mission. So for the first day, which is going to end in 2 hours, they want you to do dynamic events. And as long as you're placing, I would say, top 200 of these events, you're going to be unlocking your books. Again, I did my event the first time that I logged in, and I got the book so that I could unlock the skill here. And then when you do get the book, you do have to go to the castle here, and I'll just go here real quick. You just go to the castle, and in the castle is where you'll unlock the book, and then you'll buy the book. It'll go in your inventory. You got to double click it to use it, and then your skill will be unlocked. Now, as you're doing these events, resistant events, you're going to be able to level up your ultimate skill. The ultimate skill can only be leveled up with the resistant event books. You cannot use regular skill books for it. There's special books that you can only attain by doing the resistant events. Okay, you can see here the Guillotine Blade takes 10 of these papers, which you get for doing the events. So just do your events once this comes out, and you will unlock your skill. Again, I did it on the first event. Now I'm just grinding the events so that I can get more skill books, so that I can increase the level of Guillotine. And you can see here my damage is going to increase big time by leveling it up. So that is my plans moving forward. Just going to be doing these events the next few days, trying to get the Guillotine Blade as high as I can. And just gonna keep enjoying the great sword build. Hope you guys liked the video. That's all I've got for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys liked it, hit the like button. If you have any comments, throw me a comment in the comment section. If you haven't checked out my streams, check them out. I try to stream at least a few times a week. And if you haven't subbed yet, go ahead and give me some love and sub. Until next time, guys. Peace.